Hello and welcome to Glitch Cube, we're a gaming podcast, and each week we take a deeper look into the art of video games. As always, I'm Christian.
And I'm Chris.
And welcome back, you guys. Thank you for joining us. And it is the end of the year, which means we are going to be picking our games for 2021. Which ones really stood out to us? Like, there's obviously the Game Awards, right? And there's a lot of big AAA games out there that are going to be winning all these things. But there are so many games out there, and 2021 definitely delivered on the amount of games and amount of amazing content that came out this year. And the indie market really exploded and gave us some amazing stuff. So we decided to gather a bunch of games that meant a lot to us this year, which ones really stood out and which ones we thought deserved some recognition for 2021. And that could be AAA games or indie games. It's a little mix of all of them, just to kind of make it fun and keep it, inclusive for everyone. All game designers, all games out there. They're all treated equal here at Glitch Cube. So 2021 was an interesting year, I would say. Like, we had a lot of games that got delayed in 2020, got pushed back. There's still some delays that are happening. But regardless of all the issues that were coming up with the studios having their own personal troubles, we got some really fun stuff out there. We got some really great games. So why don't we kick it off with our first title that we want to talk about? And we've talked about it before a lot. We actually had an entire episode on this game, but it really deserves the recognition and it deserves to be talked about more and more by everybody. That is, of course, Eastward. Oh man, like, what can we say that we haven't already said about Eastward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this game is fantastic. It was great from the art design, from the music, from the vibe, the writing. Everything about this just drew my eye instantly from the first trailer I saw. And then when I played through it, it was one of the first games in a long time that I wanted to sit down and see this ending. Like, I needed to see the ending and where the story goes. And man, I was so happy to do that. I was so happy to see the ending of this thing. Gosh, I love this game so much. It's definitely probably in the top tier of like my favorite games of all time now, in my opinion. What's your take on this? I know we talked about it a lot, but maybe for the people who haven't listened to that episode, how do you feel about Eastward?
I really enjoyed it. I was excited for it the moment I saw it in one of those Nintendo Directs. And I was like, oh my God, it's beautiful. I just need to play it. And when it came out, I don't like to buy games day one or, pre-order things. But this was one of the few exceptions I made. And I'm kind of glad I did because it felt good getting a game that was like pretty much complete. Like, I think they had one patch after to fix something with the cookie. Oh no, it was for fast travel, and that was really it. And there hasn't really been, from what I noticed, like any other like patches or anything for it. So it was nice getting a game that just worked out of the box. And I honestly liked the story in the beginning, but everything else about it is what made me kept me playing. Like the exploration, the combat, even though it's really basic combat, it just felt good. It felt like kind of like when I played Bastion or kind of like Crosscode, where the combat really made me want to play more of the game. And then as the story kind of expanded, I was like, oh my God, this is actually good. It kind of surprised me, and it went on longer than I thought it did. Like, I thought it would be maybe like a 6-hour game, but it went on a lot longer than that. And I really enjoyed it. Like, it's definitely, for indie games this year, it's definitely up there for me. And I mean, there was surprisingly a lot of good indie games that came out this year. Mm-hmm. But this was one of the few that really stood out among them, because it took that classic feel of like Super Nintendo games with the action and blended in a story and beautiful visuals, and it makes me want to see more games with that amount of work and like the pixel art. Like it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It almost doesn't really seem like pixels. It's interesting, but the game really it lived up to the expectations I had, and that honestly is kind of rare with a lot of games these days for me. So I usually get disappointed by something in it, or I'm
Oh
like
yeah.
not blown away. But overall, I really liked it, and I hope to see maybe not a sequel to it, but whatever that team does in their future projects, I'm like excited to see what they do.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what games come out of this as far as like what or that are inspired by this game, right? Like this definitely feels like a title that's going to inspire other game designers to kind of push the genre a little bit. Because this is just an action, it's a pixel 2D action game, right? It's not like we've seen so many of those, but they just did
Hmm.
it in such an interesting, innovative way, and they were able to express so much emotion and everything through the story despite having very limited graphics. So it's pretty amazing what they were able to accomplish. So I'm actually really excited to see like what games are inspired by this in the future, right?
And the music slaps too.
Oh my gosh, that music, that soundtrack, holy crap. And there's like 70 tracks in this thing. It's huge and every single one of them is fantastic. Ah, great game. Great game. Definitely check that one out. But before we move on to our next big game for this year, we wanted to bring up a couple, I guess honorable mentions in between the bigger titles. And I guess I'll start with my first little honorable mention for this year, and that would be Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. This game is great. It's super fun. It's super cute. It's super adorable. Another pixel game, but the thing that really caught my eye when checking this game out was actually the writing. The writing is fantastic. It's super funny, super lighthearted. So if you're looking for a game that's just very, I guess, non-invasive or just easy to get into, something just to not stress out about, this is definitely a game to check out and just enjoy the graphics and just have fun with how over the top it all is. It's great. I mean, it says it in the name. Like with that kind of a title, you have to expect something adorable and fun, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's definitely a fun one. What about you? What's your honorable little mention here?
Ooh. Well, since all three are pretty short, I'll kind of blend them all together real quick.
Yeah.
And they're all accessible on Game Pass, so it's even easier for you guys to try this. But
Shout out to Game Pass. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. First off, I want to talk a little about unpacking. It's a very simple game. You're just undoing boxes and putting your stuff on shelves and around the house. But something that really surprised me about this game is how they were able to tell a story with almost no dialogue, nothing. But you understood what was going on with your character's life as they, grew up from a kid to an adult. And I thought it was awesome how they did it, from the little details of like pictures on the wall to the objects you're unpacking. It's like, wow, this game is a little bit deeper than I thought, even though it's a very casual game. And if any of you are stressed out and need just some relaxation, it's the perfect game, unless unpacking stuff makes you nervous. But it was a fun time. And then another one that's really quick was Rain on Your Parade. It's a very simple premise. It kind of reminds me of like Donut County in a sense where, you're messing with the environment, but you're a little rain cloud who has to, rain on certain things or create like little hurricanes or use lightning to kind of progress in the stages. And there's a lot of little side stuff you can do, but it was a fun little time. It was enjoyable and simple, and then leads into my last one, which surprised me because I didn't think I was going to enjoy it, but it was fun. But The Artful Escape was really cool.
Yeah, I definitely want to check that one out. I'm still like on the fence with that one, but maybe you could sell it to me now.
The visuals are really great. I love the psychedelic theme to it, like hidden underneath the, folk hero. Like your character is basically living in the shadow of a family member. And, he was a folk musician, but you get in your mind you want to be like a rock musician. So you're like traveling the galaxy to get inspiration of being like the best, rock and roll musician. And it was kind of cool seeing your character evolve from being in the shadow of someone else, but finding your own success within yourself. And seeing that kind of evolution of your character was really cool. But it's a very simple game. You're running from left to right for most of it. There aren't really any puzzles. It's more so like Simon Says for the boss battles, like you're hitting the same button light that they're pressing. And it's a really simple game, but it was a cute story. And I mean, Annapurna usually comes out with good stuff. And I mean, for this year, I thought it was a really cute title. Nice. Especially if you have Game Pass, it's worth checking out.
Nice. Yeah, I might have to pick that one up for sure. I didn't know the story was as deep as you brought it up to be.
I was surprised by that too, because I was like, oh, he's just whiny and stuff. But once you get like a little bit further in and you start seeing like kind of things get explained to you, I was like, wow, this is kind of inspirational. It was cool.
Nice. All right. Well, I think it's time for our next big game of the year. The one or our second installment, or second game for maybe our big three, I guess we can start calling it, right? Mm-hmm. So we got Psychonauts 2. Now, this is a game that we have been waiting for, right? Like, Psychonauts was amazing. And I mean, this game almost didn't get made. But thank you to crowdfunding and fan support and fan love out there that really made this game happen, because holy crap, this game is fantastic. Like, it really stuck true to its roots, right? Like, usually with a game, especially with like how far apart these two games are, like you would expect it to lose some of that charm, or they were trying to change things a little too much to be more modern, but they didn't. They kept the charm. They kept it. Like, all of it. The writing is just so clever. The voice acting is impeccable, in my opinion. Probably the best voice acting I've seen in a game in a long time. And it's fun. The gameplay is great. The story is deep and just really interesting. Gosh, great title. Super, super fun. And there's little connected powers. Like, it is so much fun to just even see, like, there's a power where you can like look at someone's subconscious and you can like, you see the image of yourself or like what you look like to them. Mm-hmm. And it was just so much fun to like go into people's minds and see that. Be like, oh, I'm just a baby to you, right? Or like, I'm a squirrel, or like, I'm nothing, or I'm bacon for one person, right? Like,
you have a bacon all over the screen.
But it's just super great. Like, it's like, I can't say enough good things about this title. I think it really is like a perfect title, I would say, in my opinion.
I think so. I almost didn't play it because I liked the original Psychonauts. I never like fully finished it, but I remember getting really far in it and then I lost my disc. But playing this, I was looking at it before and I'm like, it just seems like it's going to be Ratchet and Clank all over again. And I really enjoyed Ratchet and Clank. But this game really, to me, I feel like it's better than Ratchet and Clank. While that game was really fast-paced and fun and really action-forward, it captures that old platformer feel, right? Like the early Xbox, the PS2 era platforming, and just breathes life into it, right? It brings it into a modern setting. Like, you still have your little collectibles you can get, and, very interesting ways of doing platforming, because 3D platformers can be like sometimes really annoying.
Yeah.
But I'm really enjoying this game. Like, I think I want to say maybe I'm halfway through it right now, but just from what I've played, it's definitely one of my favorite games this year. The story is good. Like, the main story is like, okay, it's there, but it's the character development and learning more about these characters that you're around. It's crazy. Like, it really touches on some deep subjects, and it gives you like the trigger warning before you play the game. Like, hey, like, this game is going to talk about certain like mental problems and, you know, how we deal with it, but in a comedic way. And it's you see it though, like in the game, like you do come into situations and you're like, oh wow, like they're talking about this in the game. Like it's crazy. And the way it looks like a children's game still, but it has those dark undertones to it. And it's fun. Like the special powers you get are cool. Like you said, you can go in like someone's subconscious, or you have these things called mental connections where they have like thought bubbles, right? So like there was a part where, you know, with cilantro, like the first stage you get it, and it's connected to disgusting. But if you jump in the cilantro cloud and then go to excited, they'll be really excited about it, and they change their opinion. Like I thought that was really cool how they did that, even though it's like not really like an innovative power like we've seen like jumping to rails and stuff in other games. I thought it was such a imaginative way of doing that. And it's, you know, I haven't gotten annoyed with the collectathon part of it yet, because I mean it is optional. You don't need to do it. You just get your powers a lot sooner when you do it. But I'm loving it. Like it's definitely one of the games that have surprised me this year. And that doesn't really happen too often. Like I think this also happened last week, but and I'll just be really quick about this, was Guardians of the Galaxy really surprised me too. But would I consider it like one of my favorite games this year? No, but it definitely was a good game. But jumping from that excitement of that game being good and going into this, it's just like, it's awesome. Like I'm sitting here like, damn, I really want to go back and actually play it. You know, it's that same feeling I got when I played Eastward. I'm like, I really want to go back, you know? So I'm excited. Like I'm excited to see like how the story goes, and I'm really in love with it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think that Psychonauts really did, like you mentioned too, with like the trigger warnings and stuff like that, and how it deals with different things like mental illness. I think that's what excited me the most about this title, because it did exactly what inspired me when I was going to school. Like I realized that games could be much more. They can help with these things. They can help with depression. They can help with PTSD, with all that. And Psychonauts did that. It showed that in a very comedic, lighthearted way to kind of familiarize you with it and just make you understand it better, instead of it just like, you know, being so stark and serious and dark, which it could be, right? These topics are really hard to deal with, but it did it in a very lighthearted way, which just made it more meaningful, and I would say more impactful, right? And it still kept the charm of the game, right? It just, yeah, it was great. The layers that they were able to put on there is just fantastic. Great game. Definitely probably one of the best games of the year for sure. All right, so I got another little honorable mention game, just a really quick one. Maybe I'll loop or combine a couple of these together, but the first one I want to talk about is Inscription. Now, as you guys know, if you've listened to any one of these episodes, I love card games. And this one is a great card game, and it is such a disturbing story. Like the art style is fantastic, but like basically you're like kidnapped by a serial killer, you're stuck in this cabin, and it becomes like an escape room roguelike card game deck builder, all looped into one, which is just great. But they did actually just release a new mod not too long ago. It's a mod that actually got attached to the game itself. It's called Casey's mod, where it just makes it a true roguelike. And it's really, really fun, really great to play through. It just it makes the cards and all the combinations, all the potential things you can do, just really shine that much further. And it's great. I mean, it's one of those games that, like, I don't know, like Slay the Spire was fantastic in its own right, but I feel like this is taking it to a new level as far as like deck builder roguelike card games. This is something different, something innovative, something with some, like, you know, clever writing. Like even the cards will like talk to you. They have like broken stuff. There's a bunch of Easter eggs in this. So throughout the year, a lot of people have been posting a lot of really fun videos of things that they've found while playing. And it's just really cool to see that amount of exploration in a game, especially when it's just a deck building card game. right? And to see people that excited to want to continue to play it, to find all of these weird little quirky things that are hidden in the game, it's just awesome. Really, really great. But another one, it's another small game that really caught my eye this year. It's just really, really fun, but I feel like people should check it out, is Skull the Hero Slayer. Now, this game's awesome. It's another roguelike game. So it's an action roguelike game, 2D pixels. You got your side-scrolling stuff. So it's really cool. Really, it gets really hard. But the interesting, innovative thing that this game did that really drew my eye is that the powers that you get, is what you're doing is you're actually changing your head, right? So you're a little skeleton boy running around the map, and whenever you change out your head, you put on the head of a new hero, and then you get their powers. And the amount of powers and the amount of abilities that they put into this game is actually pretty amazing. They put a lot into this, and it's just really fun to kind of just mess around with that, see what skulls work best for your kind of gameplay. But the thing is, too, you have to remember it is all random. So if you find a skull you like, you might not get it for a lot of runs. So that was the only thing that I was a little like, man, I really wish I could just get this one again, right? So that's why it's not one of the big games, but it's definitely one to check out, and it's a lot of fun.
It looks fun.
Yeah.
You find yourself staring down the mouth of a dark cave, hearing the low rumble of something large inside. This is it. Everything you have been fighting for lies just within this cave. Hey man, what's the matter? This is your big ending fight scene.
Yeah, sorry about that. I've just been so tired today. Feels like I've been hit with like 2 points of exhaustion. Ugh.
You know what? I have just this thing to get you back into the adventuring spirit.
Really?
Of course. I have a delicious roast from Geek Grind Coffee.
Huh. That sounds pretty cool. What kind of brews do they have?
They have blends like Dragon's Roast, Dwarven Dawn, Wizard's Mist, and so much more. They have even one celebrating Jim Henson's The Labyrinth, the Goblin King's Elixir.
Whoa, those sound awesome. I'm waking up just hearing about them. Is there an easy way for me to pick up some?
I got you. For the fans of our show, if you visit geekgrindcoffee.com right now and enter the promo code GLITCH at the checkout, you will get 20% off your order.
Whoa, that's great. So you're saying if I go to geekgrindcoffee.com right now and enter the promo code GLITCH at checkout, I'll get 20% off my order? That's amazing.
That's right, yo.
All right, I'm ready for this adventure. Bring it on. Hey, that's a natural 20. Just like the discount you can get when entering the promo code GLITCH at geekgrindcoffee.com.
Level up your morning with Geek Grind Coffee.
Which, you got any little games real quick before we move on to our big number 3?
Yeah, I'll do some little quick talking about, and I think they're considered AAA games, but for me, Near Replicant was great.
Yeah.
Feel like I don't really need to talk too much about it just because so many people know about it already. But
that came out this year. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean the original Nier came out years ago, but like that version, yeah, that was.
Gosh, it feels like so much happened this year. It's nuts to think about.
It is crazy. Another one was It Takes Two. Mm-hmm. I know they won the Game Awards, Game of the Year, and stuff like that, but as someone who actually played it with someone, it's, well, I guess you kind of have to play with somebody, but it's
it does take two, right? No.
It really is a good game, though. Like, I mean, it addresses a serious topic, mm-hmm. and the puzzles you do together are so ingenious, and they just flow and work, and I was surprised, and the game was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, because the game, once you reach a few stages in, you're like, oh, well, this is it. This is where that's it, you know? Because right. I remember A Way Out, his previous game, being kind of short. And I thought, oh, well, that was kind of a bummer. Like, I want to play more of it. And then it just opens up a lot more. And there's really interesting kind of ways they tie in the real world, issues of their marriage into some of these puzzles and decisions. And for anybody out there that's played it, that elephant scene is just, it's still burned into my mind, and it's, fun up, basically. Like it's, I was so surprised when that scene happened, and it, like, when we were both playing it, we're like, oh my God, like, we don't want to do this. Like, we don't want to go through with what we have to do, but then you're forced to do it. But it's just like, God, I still feel evil for it. But the game was really enjoyable. It feels good to play not only a co-op game that's fun, but it being really good at the same time. Like, it deserved that award, the Game Awards ceremony. Like, it was just fantastic. Like, I loved it, and it's definitely up there for one of my favorite games this year as well. Nice. Like, it deserves the awards. Nice. And then lastly, another small one that I just beat through was the Gunk.
Oh yeah, that looks awesome.
It was really fun. It reminded me kind of like Luigi's Mansion mixed with, the scanning. I'm trying to think of games where you scan a lot. I mean, like No Man's Sky or Journey to a Savage Planet, where you're just scanning a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was interesting because you think about it, and it's kind of a play on, climate change here and stuff. Like, the aliens basically, well, you crash land on this planet, right? Or not crash, but you're trying to find resources because you want to make money. And you realize this planet's being eaten away by some gunk. So you go around clearing it, and when you do that, you kind of rejuvenate that planet. But you start to find out that, this gunk wasn't native to the planet. And, people thought that through technology and all this kind of stuff, the world would be better. But it ends up, without spoiling anything, the gunk's there. So it was really fun. It's, for most of the game, it's pretty casual and relaxing. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good time, a game that's under 10 hours. Like, it's fun. And if you have Game Pass, it's on there. I say, check it out. It's a very pretty game.
Nice. And actually, because I want to end on a high note, I think that would be a good idea. So before we get into our final game, our final big game for this year, I do want to throw out another couple of games out there that really stood out to me that I thought were just fantastic. One of them is actually still early access, so technically not this year full release, but definitely something to kind of keep an eye out for. But the first one I want to talk about is Loop Hero. Loop Hero is fantastic. It's just a very small, simple, easy game to get into, where you're just a hero walking around on a procedurally generated loop. And every time you beat an enemy, you either get a tile card or a piece of equipment. The tile cards you can put down for different resources or different effects, like, putting different monsters in your way. And you continue on this loop on the same road. But what you're doing is you're changing the effects of the road by adding in these, more monsters, vampire mansions, treasure chests, quests, things like that. And you're just trying to rebuild your camp back home because there's a big, catastrophic event, and you're trying to solve that issue. I won't get into it too much because it is a really fun, small title to pick up. It actually is on Switch now too. So if you want something casual on the go, I would definitely recommend that. And then the one that is technically still early access, but I think everyone should really keep their eyes out for this one when it gets a full release. That is going to be The Last Spell. Holy crap. So far, the footage from it, people have been playing this game for about a year now already, but the footage is just getting better and better and better. Every time I look back at this game, I want it so bad. It's city building, it's tactics, it is inventory management, it's RPG, it's all of that. And the tactics battles are against hundreds of enemies, so it's massive hordes, and you're protecting your city while building it up at the same time. It's great. Definitely one to keep an eye out. It's on Steam right now, but it's early access still, and I'm really excited to see what comes of it in the near future. It's going to be good. All right, I think it's time for us to hop into our big game. What do you think?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, so this is the final big 3 game for us. So we've talked about Eastward, we've talked about Psychonauts, but what was another iconic game of 2021? I would have to say that is Resident Evil Village. Now, Resident Evil games have always been really fun to play. Well, not always. We had a little spell there where they went a little too much, last action hero and kind of lost the whole point, lost the plot behind Resident Evil. But with the resurrection of Resident Evil 7, that really boosted this franchise back up again, and Resident Evil 8 or Resident Evil Village really kept that torch lit and ran with it, right? It brings back a lot of the classic fun action tropes from the original and what made them exciting, and it still had the good horror aspects, the good storytelling from Resident Evil 7, so it was able to combine those two worlds and just make a really, really enjoyable experience with really iconic characters, iconic boss fights, really over the top boss fights at times. Fighting a giant, metal monster while you're in a tank that just happened to show up, that's whatever. It is what it is. But they are really, really fun. It's a really great title. It looks amazing. It plays really well. It has that whole, collectathon style that you grown to love over Resident Evil, where you're just looking for gems and random treasures and crap like that, while having the good bit of horror and the good guns. Just everything about it was just really fun. And I gotta say, this merchant is pretty good. It's not gonna beat the Resident Evil 4. What are you buying, right? That's the classic iconic merchant, but this guy does a great job, and you just want to know his story and who the hell he is, because the Duke, he for me, he stole the show in my opinion. But it is a great title for Resident Evil.
Yeah, I'm still working through 7. 8's been one that's been on my radar for a minute. But from the little bit, because I did start it up because I was like, oh, I'll skip 7 and I'll jump into it. But I haven't gone that far. But just everything about it, it really does seem to capture that feeling of the old school ones, where the exploration and more of the scary side of things, but it does capture the fun action parts of 5 and 6, but it's a good mix.
Yeah.
And that's something that that's why I really want to finish 7 first, is I'm I really want to understand the backstory to 8, because I heard how connected they are.
Yeah, it's basically a direct sequel to 7.
Yeah.
So as far as story wise goes,
it's just, I don't know, everything about it, the aesthetic of it too, is what I really like. I love that kind of place that you're at.
Yeah.
And just the bosses and stuff are just really cool looking too.
Yeah. The character design's great. I mean, and honestly, the level design is fantastic. It's you remember the original mansion or the police station, right? That's such an iconic area, because you're exploring this whole thing throughout the game, and things are looping back on each other, and certain things are unlocking at different times. The whole village feels that way. It feels like that classic, really interesting, puzzly level design, and it's done on a bigger scale this time. So it's a really fun one to play through, and they have some different tropes in there too, which is really cool. I would say, for instance, the second boss, the second boss you play through, it goes back to more of it reminds me of PT almost, because you lose your weapons. So now you're going through this house, this whole stage with no weapons, and so it's just a big horror game, and you have to stealth your way through it. And luckily it's a short part, because I could see how that could take people out of the game, especially whenever you're given so many interesting weapons and you're being taught to fight back the whole time, and then now you have to kind of sneak out of it. It was really clever though to put it in. It's just a different style of horror, which is really cool. And the tying into different folk tales and the storybook idea is just really, really great. It's just fantastic title through and through. Really, really fun. Really happy to see Resident Evil back to what it was, because I said, 5 and 6 were a little, they definitely missed the mark a little bit. but it's nice to see that. Even if we are seeing the characters from those games again, they did them a little bit more justice in these titles now. I think that's good, yeah?
Yeah, I'll bring up my one-off, I guess, real quick, too.
Okay.
Just to add a few minutes.
Yeah, go for it.
And I think so last year I had this game challenge, right? Because it was 2020. I tried to beat 40 games in the year, and I think I hit 39, or it did hit 40.
I thought you did the full 40, yeah.
You're right. It was the last minute I did it. This year, I didn't really have a game challenge. I was like, oh, well, I'll just try and actually play some of the bigger titles that I've missed out on over the years. And I was able to hit 38 this year. And because a lot of these games didn't come out this year, I figured, oh, well, why not just make like a little half episode on games I've beaten this year? So hopefully soon. I need to work on it a little bit more. I've gotten some of it written down, but keep an eye out for like one of the 0.5 episodes that we do sometimes. And I will go over the top 10 that I've played this year. And it's going to vary from different decades and different styles of games. And I'll go into a little detail of them without spoiling anything, and my thoughts and what they could do even better, or, just different things. Because some of the games I played this year weren't the best, but I would still talk about them because I feel like even the not so great games can bring something innovative out of them.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. All right, so that's going to do it for us with our look back at some of the games from 2021. These are just some of the games that really stood out to us this year. And we're excited for the new year. We're excited for 2022 because guess what? That's a whole another year, new year of games, new year of exciting content coming out, and a whole new year for us. We're continuing this going on. This is our second end of the year episode, and we're still going strong, you guys. And we can't wait to see what amazing thing comes out of this show and how much more we can help grow this community. I'm just blown away constantly by the amount of people that we've met through this show, the amount of other podcasts that have approached us that we are now in contact with. And now I would consider them, friends of the show, friends of us, right? Like, it's really, really amazing to see the community that is being built up around this. And thank you all so much for your support throughout the years. It's been amazing. And like, we wouldn't be doing this without you guys, honestly, this has been so much fun, and we just trust us. We're not going anywhere. We're staying strong, and we are going to keep plugging away. We're going to keep, playing these games, keep making content, and hopefully be making even more content and across different media forms for you guys to enjoy, to absorb, to have fun with, and just join us along in this little adventure of ours through video games. It's just been a blast. So thank you all so much for joining in. And one last little quick shout out to probably the real star of 2021. That has to be Xbox Game Pass, you guys. We're not sponsored by them, but we can be if you want, Xbox. But Xbox Game Pass really, really killed it this year with the amount of great titles that they gave out to you all for free. And the fact that you could play some of these games on your iPad, on your phone, it was crazy. I was playing Dragon Quest VIII on my iPhone at work. That's just insane. It had full touch controls. How crazy is that? But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to... Oh, yeah.
One last thing. January, we're going to be doing our Joystick January.
Oh, yes. That's right.
Hashtag event. And this year, it's going to be more, I guess, centered, instead of like tons of different, subjects for each day.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll post this on Instagram and Twitter. And it's going to be games that meant a lot to us, good and bad. And we want to just highlight what games really meant a lot to us. So expect daily content on our social medias.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with it last year, and it's going to be great. And thank you guys so much for the people who actually participated last year as well. And we hope to...
Yeah, feel free to join in too.
100%. So make sure to follow our socials so that you can keep up to date with everything. It's going to be much like a lot of those challenges lists, they're very like catered, like today is this, today is that. We're going to try and simplify it a little bit for everybody to just kind of enjoy and make it a lot easier for everyone to join in on the fun of Joystick January. So make sure to follow our socials for that one. And who knows, I might be doing another drawing challenge for January as well. Let's see if I have the time for it, because last year was really hard, but it was a lot of fun doing it. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, with that, I think that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for all the love and support. We really, really, really do appreciate it. Thank you. And we'll talk to you all next week. All right. Bye.
Bye.